Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
What would I do if I had 0 clients today? It's the beginning. I don't have clients. I have no business. What would I do? Well, I'm going to tell you. And if you follow what I give you here, chances are you're going to be able to get some clients very quickly. If you don't know me, I'm Michael Anthony. I've done over $30 million in online sales, led a couple of companies, best-selling author, award-winning speaker, award-winning podcast host, blah, blah, blah. I know how to build businesses. And here's what I would tell you if I were you and I was starting a business at 0 today. And how can I tell you this? Because in fact, I just did this 3 weeks ago. So as of right now, it is July 27th. On July 1st, I did not have a company. And in the last 3+ weeks, we have booked 6 figures in business. How were we able to do this? Well, the question is very simple to answer. You go and you help people solve a problem that you're an expert at solving. For all of us, the thing that we get caught up in is that we forget that business is way more simple than we tend to make it. We try to turn it into this thing about algorithms and ecosystems and training modules and communities and you name it. And we forget that really at the core of it, it's an exchange of value. And that exchange of value is, what is the thing that I have that solves the highest level problem for you that you will give me money for? That exists over all dimensions of time for all of humanity. You cannot argue it that at the end of the day, that's what it is. We're always like, okay, what can I trade you? I will trade you this for that, whatever it is. And so I sat down and I thought to myself, okay, what am I expert at? I'm an expert at helping people in business. I know how to take really complex, difficult problems that people are facing in their business and to bring them down to the most simplified level so that they can start to take action. I'm really good at helping people get around their brand identity, the customer that they serve, how to frame offers, how to stick out in the marketplace, how to brand themselves effectively, and how to market themselves. That's something that I would call myself, I'm not a master at it. I would say I'm still a while away from mastery. I would certainly call myself an expert. So when people come to me and they're like, hey, I don't know what to do, I'm like, great, this is the problem I solve. I know how to help you take the idea in your head about the thing that you want to do to change the world or grow the business or sell your product and actually make it palatable for an audience, whether they're warm or cold, and get them to convert and come into your world. That's what I do. And that's what I just did for a group of amazing people. And that's what we're rinsing and repeating as we build this company. And this is the same thing I did in coaching, same thing I did in my e-commerce brand. Like, I understand this world. I've spent all of my energy trying to understand market behavior, why people do what they do, most importantly, how to convert them from know, like, and trust into customer. So if I were you and I was in day one and I had no clients, the very first thing that I would do is I'd find out exactly what problem can I solve? What is the number one problem that is in front of them that I am an expert at, that if they come into my offer, my program, my business, my company, they will pay me a lot of money to solve for them. Now, what I tend to think is like, how do you do a couple of things? One, how do you save people time? When you're working in the B2B space, anything with another business entrepreneur, owner, anything that we're like B2B, I'm only thinking about how do I save them time. Because as an entrepreneur, somebody with a team and a business and people that I have to rely on and to do my thing, which is the marketing, I have to have a team to go and execute over here. So everyone I bring into the business saves me time. When I hire recruiters, it saves me time. When I hire project managers, saves me time. When I hire people to come in and build out systems, saves me time, right? And so I leverage them to get back the thing that I need in time. People leverage us to help understand how to not pay the dummy tax for 4 years because I already know how to solve the problem that they're in with trying to figure out how to market themselves to their target audience. That's what I'm really good at. So people come to me and they're like, how do I use my podcast? How do I use my funnel? How do I use my lead magnet? How do I get clarity on my demographics? How do I understand this or that? And I go, this is how we do this. And then there's a deeper execution because some things we literally do for people, like podcast production. You send us your clip, you send us your video, we do all the rest, right? And so there's so many different things that we've become experts at. Again, not necessarily master of any yet, but very much on the expert level. So you're sitting here and you're like, okay, I get all this. Well, what's step one? Step one truly is identify what skill you have that is worth a lot of money. Everyone has one. It's going to be different for everyone, but you all have one. I have one. You have one. Once you are able to identify that, now here's the hard part. This is where most people get stuck. I see this more often than not. Most people get stuck because they don't go out here and fucking tell people. They're like, I have this great thing that I know how to do, and they keep it all to themselves because they're scared or because they're intimidated or because they don't believe in themselves. Because of this, they will never be successful. I cannot tell you the number of people I've seen in my life as an entrepreneur who were better than me at probably everything, who I crush because I am willing to go out and put myself into the world. Even in the failures. And sometimes, there's real failures and there's real money on the line and there's real mistakes, right? There are weeks and months where I'm like, man, this is crazy. We're even trying this, but I'm going to go and do it anyway. And so I'm willing to do that. So you have to be willing to do that and shed the fear of whatever it is that's inside of you that says you're not the person to do this. Because if it's not you, then who's it going to be? So number 2 is really built in this idea about belief. Do you believe you're capable of doing this? Because if you don't, it's not going to work. And one of the things people have really backwards, they're like, well, I'll believe in myself once I do it. It doesn't work that way because you're never going to take the first steps. You have to see the vision before you take the steps. Because in order to create, you must first believe. And I see this as one of the things that has become my superpower that I try to instill into all of my clients. It's like, you can do this. You can do this. If I can do it, I am a homeless kid from the hood with drug addict parents who did not graduate high school. They literally gave me the diploma and they're like, get out of here. I worked warehouse jobs. I worked restaurant jobs. I worked door-to-door jobs. I did anything. I suffered. I failed miserably in my first couple of businesses in my early 20s. I constantly was not in a place where things were working. Hell, it was so bad when I was 26, I actually had to borrow money from a girlfriend who lived with me to pay our rent. So I get it. I know what it feels like when you're like, man, are you going to tell me I got to go put myself out there and nothing's working? Yes, that's what I'm telling you. Because when you do that, that's where the success is going to come from. It's not going to come from the moment of being like, I got something and I won. It's going to be like the moment you look back and you're like, man, that was worth it because here I am today. And so that's number 2. You have to actually believe before you can create. I don't care what you have to do, but you have to get to this place in your life where you are convincing yourself that like you are here for a purpose, that God, Spirit, Mother Nature, Batman, I don't know, something brought you here. Something brought you here to go and be great. You're not going to be great if you don't believe it first. And I'm not talking about being some weird egotistical maniac. I'm talking about the proof is in the pudding. Like you sit here and you look at your damn life and you go, yes, I can do this. Yes, I will do this. Yes, I'm going to make this happen. And this isn't rah-rah motivation. This is just where it starts. You're sitting in the moment and you're like, pull the trigger. Let's go. Get in the damn game. Stop waiting. For those of you who are waiting for perfection and waiting to
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
it's done. It ain't never going to be done, and it's definitely never going to be perfect. You know, I look at what we're building right now, it's a mess. I mean, internally it is, because we're building systems and processes and people and growth and connecting dots and laying out puzzle pieces. But we have a 100,000 piece puzzle on the table, and we got a corner figured out. You know what I'm saying? And in my other companies that we have built 7 figures in, it was the same process. It was, we're going to start on the corners, and that looks like a horse face maybe, but it also could be a candy bar. I don't know what it is, but we're going to lay it on the table. We're going to piece it together. But we have the vision because we have the box right on the outside of the 100,000 piece puzzle. It says, this is what it's supposed to look like. It shows you a visual representation of it. And before you can actually go and build it, you have to believe that it can be built, because you see it and you go, cool, I can do this. I can build this thing. Sometimes you need to lean on other people. That's why we have Unbroken Business Support Group. In fact, that's why I wrote the handbook. The thing that I think all the time for people is like, sometimes we just need a guide. So if you go to unbrokenbsg.com/handbook, you can actually grab my 7-figure entrepreneur handbook, where I break down the 10 biggest lessons I've learned in building a 7-figure company. So it's unbrokenbsg.com/handbook. unbrokenbsg.com/handbook. That's a 7-figure entrepreneur handbook. It's $7. All right. Number 3. And number 3 is my favorite. It's called Get in the Damn Game. Number 3 is take action. You've got to follow through. None of this works if you just sit and ideate and secret yourself, right? Not any amount of meditation or visualization is ever going to change your life or your business. Things only change when you take action, and deeply unsettling, uncomfortable action at that. The action that one takes when they're like, I don't want to do this today. The action one takes when it's 7:09 p.m. and you've been going since 6 a.m. and you said you were going to do another video, so you have to do another video. The action that it takes when you're going to get on another sales call where you just got rejected 48 times in a row. The action it takes where you're going to write the next book, the next blog, the next newsletter, where you're going to make the next podcast, you're going to make the next clip, the next reel, you're going to get in the game. It's the action. That's where all of this lives. It's standing at the free throw line and just shooting over and over and over and over again, putting in the reps. And I can tell you a lot of people are going to fail just simply because they won't put in the reps, because it's going to get too hard. You know, one of the things I share with my team actually pretty much on a daily basis, I literally tell them, it's not even hard yet. Hard is coming. You know, you think onboarding new clients and getting sales and doing marketing and figuring out webinars and challenges and writing books and doing podcasts and blogs and recording courses and content and workbooks is hard. That's not hard yet. It's not even hard yet. We're not even too hard. We're still at like the beginner level, but some people make beginner seem so impossible. They don't even take the first damn step. They create this big old vision in their head about how difficult it is. And I'm like, it doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be that difficult. What I would tell you, and this is just my God's honest truth, what I will tell you is, yes, it's going to be hard, but it doesn't have to be as hard as you think it does. In fact, most of business is really easy. It's like, okay, I'm going to take this action repeatedly. Somebody asked me one time, like, how did Think Unbroken, my old podcast, become so big? It was consistency. I just never stopped. I put it in over and over and over and over and over again. I did the work. We created thousands of episodes, thousands of pieces of content. I've probably, between me and my team, I bet we have posted 150,000 times in the last decade. You know what I mean? And you're like, I posted once this week. Take the action, do the uncomfortable thing, get into the game. And number 4, you have to be patient. Like, so many people are going to lose this game just because they don't know how to be patient. It's going to take time. Now, I will tell you this, what we have built and what we are building and what I'm documenting. Like, I'm literally documenting the journey because I shared this the first 6 months of this year. We could not get an offer to work. Nothing was going my way. I was like, man, we're dying over here. I haven't paid myself in 6 months. I've got to figure something out. And the thing was, I was just like, I'm going to be patient. I know how this works. I've done this before. I've built business. I know that sometimes it just takes time. And because I've failed so many businesses, I already have all the dummy tacks about the things not to do. So I really get to focus on doing the things right this time based on the information and data before. You know, one of the great things that failure has is it gives us data to look at and understand what we did right and what we did wrong. Because me as an entrepreneur at 41 versus me as an entrepreneur at 25, I smoke that dude every day of the week. Like, it's not even close. Like, I kick 25-year-olds me ass every day. 25-year-old me could never make $100,000 in a month, could never make $1 million in a year. Right? Because he was 25-year-old. And that's how it is for a lot of early entrepreneurs. They're like, why am I not rich? I'm like, because you've been doing it for 5 minutes. I'm 17 years into this game. I am still learning. I still have a mentor and a coach. I'm still executing at the highest level. I'm still freaking out trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? But I'm patient. And for you, I want to encourage you to go play a long game. What does this business look like in a year? 24 months, 36 months, 5 years, 20 years, 25 years. Because if you don't give up, you will not lose. Now, that doesn't mean you don't have a really poor market fit. That's another conversation. That's why I'm really good at helping people solve that problem. But the reality is, even when I started Think Unbroken, initially, you go rewind 10 years ago, I was coaching people in the mental health space. Everyone around me was like, don't do that. That's a horrible idea. You're not going to make any money. And I was like, watch me. I will figure this out. And I built a multi-million-dollar company in the mental health coaching space for childhood trauma survivors. Don't tell me you can't do this selling widgets to Bob and Sally. Like, this works. There's a cadence to it, of course. That's why we built Unbroken Business Support Group. That's why I wrote the handbook, which is, again, unbrokenbsg.com/handbook, where you can download it for $7. And that's why we host our challenges and our webinars, and we do all the things that we do, because I know that this works. And I believe in myself, and I believe in my team, and I believe in the chaos of the world that is required in order for things like me, like this, to work. Because I'm a kid from the hood who's supposed to be dead or in jail. My 3 childhood best friends got murdered. My uncle's in prison for life. I got other family members been in prison for like 20 years. A couple of my best friends growing up, they're in prison. Like, I come from nothing, man. And I'm telling you, if my ass can figure this out, you can too. There is a cadence to this. There is a process to this. And most importantly, there is a practical framework for this. That's why really everything I'm going to teach you in this podcast, everything I'm going to teach you is framework driven. These are the 4 steps of what I would do to get my first client. I'm not even talking about offer. I'm not even talking about lead magnets and funnels and all that stuff. You're not even there yet. If you don't have your first client, you're not even there. You're worried about step 26. I'm like step 2. Let's get our head right. Let's get in the game. Let's go and execute, because you have people that you're here to serve. That said, my friend, thank you so much for listening. It means the world to me. If you got value out of today's episode, do me a favor, leave a review. Go right there on Apple Podcasts, click the little review button, or if you're watching online, subscribe. It means the world to us. If there's anything we can do to support you in your journey, unbrokenbsg.com. And until next time, my friends, be unbroken. I'll see you.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.